Why is Fury going to base his whole training camp around Joyce? Is he going to be able to do 12 rounds of sparring with Joyce? Like.
This is Jonathan Anger, 5th Pro Boxing Fans, joined by SJAM Shane Watson here at the rematch press conference. Zhang, Joyce 2 this Saturday. Shane, almost here. How you feeling?
Good, excited. Really big fight week. Still the best heavyweight fight this year, in my opinion, because it is a much better fight than some of the other big heavyweight fights that we've had this year. It's the only time two elite heavyweights this year have collided as well. So it's a great fight. It's a great fight. It's a very fan-friendly fight. I don't think anyone could say the first fight was boring by any means. So it's going to be another great spectacle, whatever happens. But this time I'm feeling incredibly confident. As you will see it when the press conference starts in a minute, a very confident, strong, big Joyce is going to enter the room, and I expect him to win in good fashion on Saturday night.
Dev Sani told us yesterday that this isn't the same Joyce as before in terms of his mindset. He's more serious this time around. I mean, you're with him most days. Is he more serious, or is he just the same Joe, relaxed, laid back and ready to go?
Well, it's gone from me organising, or shall I say trying to organise Joe, to Joe organising me and calling me every morning and every day. Has this been done? Has that been done? Has this been done? So that in itself says it's a very much more alert, a lot more focused Joyce. And I think you'll see that in his performance, a lot more of an alert and a lot more of a focused Joyce.
What has been the main difference in camp this time around that gives you the belief that he'll win on Saturday?
Listen, I think there's no point trying to hide that he's going to come in heavier. You're going to see it in his face and that anyway. It's obviously going to be a bit heavier. He's got the full respect of Zhang now. Maybe didn't respect him as much as he probably should have done the first time. And he's got something to go off of now. He's felt Zhang's power. He's seen the technique with Zhang, how good his jab is, how good his counter right hook is, and obviously the main problem was the backhand. And he's seen it all firsthand now. So it just completely changes the mindset moving forward. So I'm very confident that there's not an issue with that side of things now moving forward. And if anything, when Joe does beat Zhang, it'd be a blessing because he will never make that same mistake again.
You've been around boxing for years. Whenever a fighter takes a loss, people sort of label them something different to what they did before. Have you noticed that? You know, people writing Joe off because before the first Zhang fight, he was the guy to beat Fury, to beat everyone else. And now, do you think people are doubting him?
Yeah, and again, I have to accept that because when you lose a fight unexpectedly, people are going to write you off. They're going to question when you get hit a lot as well and stuff like that. They're going to question you, and it's the same with anyone. Eubank should have retired the other day, shouldn't he? Until he wins a rematch, and now he's number one in the division again. You know, it's just the way the sport is. You know, people thought AJ was going to do sick the second time because he came back with that win, and and then everyone forgot about the first fight. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, listen, it's a rematch. He's got another chance to go at it. I expect there to be a better Zhilei Zhang on the fight night as well. He's going to be a lot more confident. So yeah, I'm excited for it, but listen, I think every box from Joe's perspective has been ticked up until this point. So now it's just about going in there on the night and getting the job done right.
Is it fair to say the loser could consider retiring if you know, especially if they lose decisively?
No, not really. I think Chizora's lost 13, 14 times and still managed to find big paydays and big fights. It's a heavyweight boxing division at the end of the day. Like, there's a lot of big fights out there for either man. Listen, Zhang's got that win still, even when he does lose. He's still got that win against a world elite heavyweight. And Joe's beaten some great fighters already, and he's a British heavyweight. He's a name. He's got a very good style that's fan-friendly. But obviously, I'm not thinking about the three. I'm just giving reasons to why the career wouldn't be over for either guy. And listen, like, as much as people say Joe gets hit a lot in fights tonight, he hasn't shown any sign of wear and tear. He started boxing late as well. People forget that. He started boxing late. So it's not like he's boxing from 7 years old, having wars from 7 years of age. So I'm very confident. Listen, I'm very confident he's going to win anyway, but like, it's definitely not over. It'd only be over if they wanted it to be over. If they just didn't fancy it anymore, then that's up to them. And it would ultimately be the right decision, but absolutely not. Absolutely not. They've both got long careers ahead of them. So I know that Zhang's 40 now, but again, he hasn't showed any real sign of slowing down. If anything, he's gone for his career best victory, so if anything, he's speeding up. Like, so, I don't think so at all. Like, there's still good fights for him. Like, even when Joe does beat Zhang, I think You've got Zhang. Even like if AJ doesn't get an opponent, I mean, Zhang's still a good live fight for him, and Zhang can fight. I don't know. I wouldn't want to see him with Chisora. That wouldn't be a good fight for Chisora at all. But I don't know. There's any good guys out there, isn't it? You could see him in against Wilder or anyone. They're all attractive and cool fights. Like anyone in that top 15 mix, they're fighting each other. They're all good fights. They're all really good fighters. So I don't think anyone would really moan.
And then Tyson Fury, you probably saw comments that he made to Queensbury saying that he should have come up to spar. Joyce should have come up to spar him in Morecambe and things like that. Was that ever considered by yourself?
Like, number one, it's quite clear that Joe's trainer is American and lives in Las Vegas, right? Number two, Joe loves to warm over training and wants to be away from distractions. Number three, Tyson Fury is a rival, yeah? Like, the aim is, when Joe wins this fight, is to fight Tyson Fury. It's the aim from our perspective, yeah? And more importantly, Joe's perspective, right? Why would we then do a whole training camp with him? There's so many things that are wrong with that. Also, how can you be sure that Fury's even going to do that? You know, like, why is Fury going to base his whole training camp around Joe Joyce? Is he going to be able to do 12 rounds of sparring with Joe Joyce? Like, so he didn't look in the best shape the other day, you know. And you can't. I'm not going to base the most important fight of Joe's life around Tyson Fury because he made a comment on an Instagram story. You know, a lot of money and time goes into these things with a lot of experts that get involved. Yeah, I'm not just going to go off an Instagram story because someone asked me to. Like, and also, he's actually nothing like Zhang. So he's never boxed like Zhang in his life. So why are we going to do that? Because he can box up and because he's big. And also, we need to have loads of other sparring on that as well. Anyway, so yeah, listen, like from top to bottom, all those reasons. I mean, even the first one's enough that his trainer doesn't live here. So, but yeah, no, absolutely not.
And then just sticking with Fury, obviously you were at the Ngannou press conference the other day. What do you make of suggestions online that Fury should be stripped because he's not fighting contenders?
No, because it's not Fury's fault. Fury doesn't make that decision. That's up to the governing body to make that decision. And if there's no mandatories made, well, you can't strip him. It's not his fault. And at the end of the day, Wilder and Ruiz didn't fight for the final eliminator. So what should have happened is the next one in line, whoever who refuses the eliminator, should be the next. Then they go down the ladder. It's like a ladder you go down in the rankings. They should have done that, but they didn't do it. So it's not Fury's fault though. They're not giving him a mandatory. You can't strip Fury. He hasn't broken any rules or any regulations, has he? So it's not his fault.
Froch says he's damaging the sport because he's having these kind of like, you know, fights against guys who aren't contenders. Is he?
Well, Froch wanted to fight Jake Paul, didn't he? And I mean, I get that. Obviously, we're talking about a current heavyweight world champion compared to a guy that's been retired for many years and already achieved at the top level of the sport. But at the end of the day, like, if Joe Joyce got offered to fight Ngannou for the money he's getting, would we be saying no? No, we wouldn't. Would anyone be saying no? No. Was Joshua not trying to get the same fight before? You know, it wasn't many people trying to get the same fight. Like, at the end of the day, we can't say Fury's doing something that not everyone else will be doing because he's not. So.
Shane, thanks for talking to Pro Boxing fans. Give us a final prediction for Saturday night.
I just want Joe Joyce to win the fight so much. So I don't want to give predictions. I don't want to put any more added pressure on or anything like that. As long as he wins the fight and he doesn't come out with too much wear and tear or injuries and stuff like that, then I'm a very happy man.
Shane, appreciate it, and best of luck Saturday night.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.